Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Welcome, dear listener, to Kardec Radio. Today, the show is about empowering our families, and who does not need to empower their own families? Each and every family on this planet is suffering from some form of issue, sometimes relationship between spouses or between parents and their children, relatives in general. What do? Allan Kardec, when he brought to us the Spirit's book with 1,019 questions and answers, he asked the very question to the illuminated spirits: what would happen if family ties are relaxed? And then the illuminated minds answered to this question, 775. A magnification of selfishness is the natural consequence of a society in which family ties are relaxed. Isn't that right? When we care more about ourselves as individuals than the whole family itself, we then need to understand that there are many things to be done. What can we do? The Spiritist magazine has dedicated its whole issue empowering our families. Issue number 18. And it's just released. You can access it at www.spiritistmagazine.com. We have the digital form there available for free to everybody who is willing to enlighten their minds with a beautiful periodical that is sponsored by the International Spiritist Council. And specifically, this issue has so many beautiful features, so many interesting ones. And it begins by telling us about a message by the Spirit Tagore through the medium Divaldo Franco. He talks about perception, because our problems in our society, in our families, sometimes they are laying on the foundation of our perception. And Tagore says, for a long time my eyes had light. I was seeing but not perceiving. For many years my ears possessed sound. I was hearing but not listening. For many stages in my existence I had emotions. I was feeling but not inspiring myself to love. Now that you have descended from your chariot and impregnated me with your reality, I perceive and listen, feeling the love that life inspires in me, because I love you, life of life. This poem is a beautiful call to us, to our connection with God. Empowerment in our families begins with a connection that we must cherish with our Creator, the sustainer of our lives, the supreme intelligence of the universe, first cause of all things, God. Teaching our children, sharing those insights between spouses and also amongst relatives, without which no family will lie in solid grounds and will not survive the torments of the current times. Thus, dear listener, would like to share with you that today we are going to have here friends, guests, sharing with us, and you can also call us, because they're going to share what they like the most and what they thought about it. Especially, we are going to bring to you the son of the artist who put together the beautiful cover for this issue, John Netto. He's going to be here with us at Kardec Radio to talk about his father, Marcos Falcão, who is the artist who drew the beautiful cover of the Spiritist magazine. You want to know why this cover is the way it is now? You want to understand more? Okay, stay there. We're going to share this with you very soon. For the time being, all we ask you is call us, email us with your questions, comments, suggestions. We have already received some We want to hear from you as well. And all the segments today, they will be helping us. Marco Magalhães, Joyce Magalhães, they put together a beautiful topic for families, depression in a family. Kirsten de Mello continues the series on the law of worship and the importance of fulfilling God's laws to be happy. Then Bernadette Leal brings to us how to teach children to control their anger. And then later on, we're going to hear Naur Fonseca and Gabi Ferreira disclosing one more chapter and one more meeting, the God at Home segment. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful, beautiful composition. It's like an orchestra here. And to open the show, we would like to share with you our dear collaborator, Nara Venditti. She prepared a special segment for us today. Nara Venditti is the owner and the head of the Succeed in America company, and she has been kindly collaborating with the Spiritist radio, Kardec Radio, with her segments. The segments are true empowerment for everyone who wants to succeed in their workplace, and this is a charitable outreach for sure, and especially for immigrants. So if you're out there, every show, Nara Venditti is here kindly and charitably sharing her professional insights, which has helped lots of people in Connecticut, elsewhere, and also in Maryland, because she was once at the University of Maryland teaching the students, faculty, etc., how to overcome immigrant barriers. And today, she dedicates the segment to how humor in the United States is a serious matter in our workplace. Let us listen to her. Go to a short break. When we come back, we have a lot to share with you.
This is Nara Venditti with Succeed in America by Packaging Your Brilliance, helping foreign-born and immigrant professionals succeed in the workplace. Our topic today, in the workplace, take humor seriously. Coming up. We all know that humor is good for you. It is well known that light-hearted laughter will regulate one's blood pressure, accelerate recovery from illness, and decrease stress in the workplace. In other words, laughter can be good medicine. It is true that all cultures enjoy humor and laughter, but how people perceive humor is culture-specific. With increasing cultural diversity in the workplace, we need to keep in mind that humor is meant to be funny, not insulting. What perceived as funny in one culture might not be understood or might even be insulting in another. Some cultures use sarcastic or put down humor in conversations so as to tease each other. Other cultures do not use sarcastic humor at all and find this type of humor offensive. And in American culture, people really don't use sarcastic humor, so be careful when you're joking around. Often, in a diverse gathering, an inappropriate joke may misfire. So I do not recommend poke fun at other groups and individuals in professional and business gatherings. How to determine what kind of humor is appropriate? If you want some fun, have it at your own expense. The safest type of humor is self-depreciating humor. Do not tell jokes related to physical appearance like a person's height, weight, or the size of their nose. Keep in mind that humor does not translate well, because very often it's based on wordplays or puns, and these do not translate easily into another language. Do not tell political, religious, ethnic, racial jokes and other jokes that ridicule people's beliefs or affiliations or even accents. In one organization I recently presented at, a manager was demoted for repeatedly ridiculing an employee's accent, foreign accent. As you can see, sometimes humor is no funny business. So know what, when, where, who, and how to kid around. And this is Nara Venditti with Succeed in America by Packaging Your Brilliance, helping foreign-born and immigrant professionals succeed in the workplace. If you have any questions, please email me at Nara, N-A-R-A, at succeedinamerica.com. That's SUCCEED in America.com. And thank you for listening.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Do you find yourself with no time to stop and read or meditate about spiritism or spirituality? We have a great solution for you. The audio CD called Unfolding Our Spiritual Nature, Path of Harmony by Ra Tashira is an enlightening CD with a question and answer session as well. Feel the enrichment and purchase your copy today at www.ssbaltimore.org.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Learn more about indigo and crystal children with the book The New Generation, The Spiritist View on Indigo and Crystal Children by Devoto Franco with Vanessa Anzalone. Whether you're a parent or not, this book will enrich your mind. Go to www.ssbaltimore.org and click on Bookstore and purchase your copy today.
The Spiritist Magazine is a trimestral digital periodical that publishes the latest news on the Spiritist thought and the movement in the USA and worldwide. Subscribe now at www.spiritistmagazine.com.
Now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here to talk about empowering our families. There's so much to learn because as Allan Kardec, when he himself asked this question to the illuminated spirits, what happens to a family or to a society when families have their ties relaxed? And they answered quite simply, very straightforwardly, a magnification of selfishness. And isn't that exactly what's happening today in our current society? You know, we are going through a planetary transition. Our world is changing from a world of trials and atonements, and you can read more about this in the Gospel According to Spiritism. And we are entering little by little. It's going to take a while. It's not going to become overnight a world of regeneration. But in this transformation, everything is being challenged, but mostly family ties. Family values, because of the new customs, because of the new types of family dynamics, have been changed. Marriage and parenting have become central issues in many doctors' offices. For example, in the United States alone, there has been a decline in marriage rate, mostly due to an increase in cohabitation, single-person households, and single parenthood. Predictions tell that if current trends continue, the percentage of U.S. adults who are currently married will fall down more. Also, the ratio of new marriages to divorces is 2-to-1. This is quite shocking, especially when children are involved in a family that is splitting. So then we ask, is it possible to get married or divorced without spiritual consequences? What would they be? In the current roller coaster of family life, parents' confidence in their parenting skills and abilities has been put to test in our world. Statistics show that parents have found it difficult to educate their children nowadays. Putting limits and creating a respectful environment at home with honored boundaries between parents and children have become an unprecedented challenge. Are some children truly difficult, or are they our different children as Emmanuel reveals? Shall we give up on our children and leave them to their whims? Are there spiritual roots for our family ties? And are there consequences on the choices we make regarding our parental education? Is there a family constellation to rely upon? These and many questions are the questions that we've raised in our discussions in Spiritist groups, and we firmly know that Spiritism has the answer for them all and can truly help everyone. No matter if we fall today, tomorrow we can stand up firm and tall and keep on marching. We're not here to be angels, dear listeners. We are here to learn lessons so we can become real human beings, as Emmanuel said, through the loving hands of Chico Xavier. Dear listener, it's about family. What can we do without our families? We need to come to terms with lots of problems. And you know, this special issue, which is issue 18 of the Spiritist magazine, it's, for the time being, it is digital. But you know, thanks to a friend that you'll pretty soon listen to in Kardec Radio's show today, John Nettle, who is the son of Marcos Falcão, he gave us a tip. We'll soon be sharing with you that you'll be able to print a magazine and have a magazine, a real magazine in your hands through the service of MagCloud at HP. We've just opened the account, and pretty soon you'll be receiving an email from us, and you'll be getting to know more about how to get this service at your door. By the way, did you know Kardec Radio can be listened from any tablet, any smartphone, any computer, at any time, day or night? You just need to log in at KardecRadio.com and get to know more about how you do it. Or blogtalkradio.com/Kardec Radio, and we have all the shows there for you on demand. Or you can listen to them directly and for free at iTunes. You just type in Kardec Radio, and there you have it. All the shows for you at any time you want. Listening, sharing with friends, nourishing your soul, so we can empower more our lives to a better quality of life. Dear listener, did you know we have listeners in more than 60 countries in the world today? Kardec Radio just turned a year, and we are in more than 60 countries. Why? Because it's also natural that these teachings really conquer the hearts, calm the minds, soothe the souls, nourish everyone. And if you have a question, suggestion, etc., we have lots of great shows coming up until the end of this year. Lots of beautiful shows like the ones we're going to have in the upcoming weeks. Stamping out childhood obesity. Vicky Marcus, she's a Marylander personal trainer who became acquainted with the problems on the epidemic of obesity, especially in childhood, and put together a beautiful program that really works, very straightforward, and she called it the FizBiz. We're going to talk about it next week. Before we go there, how about if now we'll share with you that in this current issue of the Spiritist magazine that you can access at your leisure at spiritistsmagazine.com anytime, day or night. Here we have beautiful articles that even talking about autism. It talks about different children. It talks about suicide in a family. It talks about also drowsiness in mediumistic meetings, insights from Euripides Barçanufo talking about the importance of being optimistic. Also, we will talk about André Luiz, the spirit doctor's view on marriage and divorce from the book Evolution in Two Worlds, and much, much more. It's so rich, this magazine, this issue, especially this issue, is so empowering that any word will not really summarize all that is. So now I'd like to open the line to our dear friends, João Nero, and who is here representing his father, Marcos Falcão, the artist of the beautiful cover of the Spiritist magazine. Hi, John. Thank you so much for joining us at Kardec Radio today.
Hi, Vanessa. Nice talking to you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, John. We understand that Marcos has a loving heart, but you are going to be his interpreter as we have this conversation. Yes, he's here with me
right now.
That's great.
He's here with me right now anyways.
All right.
He'll be only listening for now.
All right. Thank you so much, Marcos, as well, and your mother, Maria Jose, and your sister, Pamela, because Pamela also has helped us with the beautiful picture of the drawing itself, right? So I've heard, John, that the whole family is actually very artistic. Is that right?
Yes. Each one of us went a different way, but we always into, as you said, the artistic world. My brother does 3D design. My sister does photography. I do web and graphic design. And my dad, of course, he's the main artist. He does, which is the most artistic of all, which is painting drawing and painting. That's what he loves to do.
So was it actually your father who inspired you all?
I think it was. I think it was in the water. He always, we always saw him drawing stuff since we were, kids, and he was always painting something, always doing something very artistic. So I think it was an inspiration, that's for sure. But you also have to be born with that, how should I say, that vein, the artistic vein, and I think that comes from him as well.
And John, the question is, because I got to know of Marcos Falcão when I was very recently. I think it was the beginning of May. I was in Fort Lauderdale for a special event for the 10th anniversary of the Kardecian Spiritist Center in Fort Lauderdale. And the Marcos Falcão, as well as your mother, they are affiliated with the center. They help with the center. And I saw the beautiful drawings. I was amazed. So, who is your father? Can you tell the listener, what does he do? Because we know he doesn't do this as a profession.
Right. Well, he's from Brazil, and he moved to U.S. back in 1999. But in Brazil, he used to have, as just like here, profession, my main profession, which was artistic as well. And when he got here, he, of course, when you move to a different country, sometimes you not always have the opportunity to work on what you like to do at first, and you have to come up with something different so you can get the bills paid. So he does some carpentry. That's what he does as a main business. He does a lot of carpentry, and he's done many other things in the past as well. But the artistic side of my dad is always there. So he felt that it was time to start moving on back to what he likes to do and what he's really good at. Not that he's not a good carpenter, but that's not what he really enjoys doing every day. So,
no, I know he's a good carpenter because I've seen the masterpiece of work of art that he did at the center, in the Kardecian Center there in Fort Lauderdale. It's quite amazing. We wish he were here.
Yeah, he likes doing carving too. And, well, he does well, as you said, he does well with carpentry, but I think that when it comes to enjoyment, to pleasure, nothing beats the drawings and paintings that he does. That's something that he really, really likes to do.
So does he do oil painting as well? Oil?
He does some, but he's not as often as drawings and you know, the other kinds of media that he uses to represent his artistic side.
Okay.
So sometimes he does the oil painting, but as I said, it's not something that he does on a regular basis.
So how long has he been drawing? His whole life, or?
he likes to joke about that because he says that he's been drawing since he was a baby. In reality, he's been drawing since he was a kid. And from what I know, of course, when he was a kid, he used to do different types, different styles, different techniques of drawing, with whatever was available at that time. Mm-hmm. I think he grew using different techniques depending on the circumstances, where he was, what was necessary to be done. But I think he came to a much more mature technique now, where he uses only a pencil, a piece of paper, and an eraser, and that's pretty much it. And the drawings are just, as you've seen, they're just so stunning. They're beautiful. And,
yes.
But yeah, that's something that he's been doing all his life, not using this technique alone, but many other techniques.
So, John, do you think, or does he know if there is any does he feel the inspiration? Could he tell that it's quite mediumistic? How does he feel about it?
He feels it's inspiration, but at the same time, he says that when he's doing drawing on the subject, he feels different than doing something else. For example, a family portrait or something that's a landscape drawing. He really feels that when he's doing something for the Spiritist community, there's more than inspiration to it. He doesn't know how to explain, but I'm pretty sure that the spiritual side comes around and makes him, work in a different way somehow.
Wow, that's amazing. It makes sense to us because we're never alone. So, do you have an estimate of how many art pieces he has already done?
On this subject alone, he estimates that he's done over 40.
Wow.
Of course, most of them are given to people at the in the group at the center, and some of them are just given to the center itself, so they can make some money out of it and get some funds. But he's done over 40 on this subject alone.
That's the most amazing part, because for example, what he did for the magazine as well, it's quite amazing because it's not trivial that an artist really so skilled, and people are artists no matter if the public acclaims us as an artist or not. Artist is an art. He is an artist, and he simply donates to the center, to the magazine, to the Spiritist Federation in Florida to fundraise for the organizations. It's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Especially when you think that he still has another job. He still has to find time for to do what he has to do to pay the bills, and he's doing this on the free time. Let me quote unquote free time, but he does that, and it takes a long time to get one of those pieces alone done, completely done. It takes a long time, many hours of work. And he, as you said, he doesn't charge anything for those. He does make a profit on the ones that are sold to the general public, but they're on different subjects. A family might call and say that they want basis of their kids' design, and that and then he can make a profit on those, but not really when it comes to the Spiritism.
And John, the thing is this, I understand that he does this charitable outreach for the Spiritist centers, for the Spiritist magazine and others, because he's a Spiritist as well. How long has he been a Spiritist?
It's been over 15 years. They became Spiritism when they were in Brazil still. And when they moved here to the U.S., of course, it was a little more difficult to find centers around the area where they live. But, finally something happened, and a center was open, and they were able to engage on that one as well. So it's been 15 years since my dad has been a spiritist.
Wow. And your mom as well, right?
Yes, my mother as well, and my sister too. So it's something that has been growing inside of them for a long time, and I'm very glad that that they have something as great as the spiritism to go to, especially when you live in a different country that you really need guidance and this type of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So
exactly.
That's the thing.
And as you're talking about the very topic of being a different country, etc., I'll never forget when being at the 6th Spiritist Symposium in Atlanta this year, back in May, the beginning of May this year, when we were there, we had this vision that later other people who were in the meeting as well, they confirmed they had a similar vision of not only the founding fathers whom we know through Divaldo Franklin and other mediums who have been helping the Spiritist movement, Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, etc., but especially there we have the vision of these 5 great women, American women: Abigail Adams, Eleanor Roosevelt, Clara Barton, Emily Dickinson, and until back then we didn't know. The spirit manager just said, her name is Anne, and I'm like, Anne who? And I saw this beautiful African American lady, so elegant, so composed, and he said, well, we'll let you know more about her. And then we found out she's the Eliza Ann Grier, who is the first African American woman to be emancipated, earn a medical degree, and practice medicine in the state of Georgia. Quite amazing. And after that, they said, Vanessa, you're going to put that with Kardec and Amélie Boudet in the cover of the magazine, the upcoming issue, because the upcoming issue was dedicated to family. But they said you need to make it very striking and strong, the message that there are spirits guiding in the name of Jesus and with God, let's say the recovery of family ties in the United States especially. And then I said, well, who is going to draw this? Because it's like, it's not that you can find an artist at every corner of this planet. And then I went to the event and I saw Marcus, your father's paintings about Chico Xavier, Joana de Angelis, Mother Teresa, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes. I talked to him and he was like, he both your mother and your father, they said, sure, I'll do it. And I was like, really? I came back and I was like, was it for real or I can't believe it. And he really did it. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I think that he didn't take as a burden or as a challenge. He takes it more as a pleasure to be able not to only draw, but especially to draw something for you guys, for the Spiritism community, for the magazine, which is a great magazine, and we're all very, very grateful for the existence of this magazine. So I think that was the intake. That was the reason why he didn't even think twice when you asked him the question, if you could draw the cover.
It's service, so right, John?
Happy. I'm sorry?
It's service, right?
Yes.
I feel that he really enjoys serving, helping, reaching out.
Right. He's like that in all aspects of life. He really is. I know that it might sound tacky, but that's just the way he, especially coming from his son. But that's the way he is, and sometimes he'd rather get hurt somehow than let somebody down. So if he knows that something is gonna he can do something to help somebody, he'll do it. He'll just do it.
It's amazing.
So I know that he's very pleased with the fact that he accepted your invite to design something so important.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know? Has he described to you how he felt during the composition of this special drawing?
Well, he told me that it was one of the most important, if not the most important, drawing that he's done ever, because he knows, he understands the importance of the magazine for the community, and he knows the responsibility of drawing a cover on such an important subject as family, and to be able to touch people by doing some piece of art that's going to be, on, as I said, on such important magazine. He knew it was going to be a milestone, and now he thinks that before and after the magazine cover was designed, was drew, and he said that he felt like never before. He felt extremely excited, there was a weight of responsibility. He said that the first night when he accepted your invitation, he was happy, and the second day is when the responsibility really sunk in, and now he's just enjoying the fact that the magazine came out and that it looks great. And it was challenging because there were many faces in the same drawing. It was a big piece of art, and it took him many hours to finish. Many hours of going back and redrawing something that he didn't feel it was the right way, the way he wanted it to be. And we all pleased, the family is all very happy. People in Brazil are raving about it. It's a great feeling.
Yeah,
and
it's
as I
unbelievable.
said, it's not only we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about the art itself, but the fact that the magazine is going to be able to promote itself, even more regarding the subject.
It's amazing. I tell you, John. And what really impacted me when I met your mom and your dad both is how humble they are. They are so humble, so simple. It's and now the feeling of it's amazing because the cover talks about family, and we can really feel that they really constructed a solid family, and you can tell that it's in devotion to God and also to this kindness that they have in their hearts and this humbleness. How do you feel about your father? Because in our current society, we're so pushed to being egotistic, and here we have your mom and your dad with so many different a different proposal, a proposal of being humble, simple, kind, and gentle, and cooperative to others. Right?
They really are very, very humble, and I think that the only thing that you can really define my dad, besides being so humble, is that dedication that he has towards the family and work. He pretty much revolves around those two matters, the family and work. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't. I always tell him that he's never going to have money, big money, because he doesn't care about it. And he just, everything revolves around those two subjects. And she's very humble too. My mom is a great woman. She's a great person, and she's very humble. She's always by his side. She's always trying to help him any way she can, to not only promote what he does, but when the times, I truly think that when there are times when he's down for some reason, she's the one who picks him up and puts him on her shoulders and say, okay, let's go, get up, we got to keep moving. But they are very humble, very, very good people, big heart, and they they don't think about themselves first. They think about other people first. It's always been like this, and I'm very proud. I'm very happy to be their son.
That's so beautiful to hear nowadays. And John, you said that they work and take care of the family, and I from what I felt as well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they include in their family the Spiritist community, the Spiritist family, because I saw how he dedicated his time to build lots of things in the Spiritist Center, the whole bookstore, the whole library, and all the podium and all the other features. It was the work of your dad, and how they devote themselves to the Spiritist Center they're affiliated with. Am I right?
Yes. There's a lot of devotion, as you said. There's a lot of times when they really come back from work. My mom works too, and they work really hard. And we just know that they had a very long day, very, very busy day. They're tired. It's still, my dad devotes himself to the drawings. He only takes a shower, eats something, and starts drawing for this purpose, to be able to next day come to the center and just say, okay, we need to raise money. This is the way I can help. And, here we go. Whatever you make, it's for the center. Let's keep improving. Let's keep helping people, bringing more people to come here. And same thing with my mom. She's always, she doesn't draw, but she does whatever she can for the center. She might be tired on a Saturday after a long day of work, as I said, and she goes to the kitchen and to cook something, to bring it to the center next day, so they can sell it and get raise some funds. Very, very devoted, and I think it's something that's so amazing, especially nowadays when people are really shallow. People only care about themselves and about how to become more wealthy, or enjoying a good time doing something else. They really give up their time to this purpose.
It's amazing, John. I tell you, though I know Spiritism, I know there are many people around the world who are in the same line of thought in the Spiritist movement, but it's not about praising for praising, but really acknowledging these efforts, because this is really the pattern that the Spirits say will be the world of regeneration on the earth. When goodness will prevail, people will think more about the general goodness first and then themselves. So would you like to share anything else before we go for the break?
Well, if you allow me, I can ask him if he wants to say something.
Sure.
Let me come back.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Ela está pensando se quer falar alguma coisa, No, I think they're good right now. Very, very happy, very excited that I'm being able to share their stories here. And for now, I think that's it. They're good.
Right. It doesn't surprise me they don't want to add, because it's a trademark of humility and simplicity.
Yeah, that's right. They're just excited, happy that if everybody's happy, they're happy. That's all.
That's great. God bless their hearts. And I tell you, John, I'm also very thankful to you, all of us here at Kardec Radio, and the magazine, because the tip you gave us, especially yesterday on MagCloud.com, I think is really going to help the magazine. Thank you so very much.
I'm happy to help too. And they're here. They're thanking you and thanking the radio and the magazine, first of all, for the opportunity to help, and thank you for having me.
Yes, Daniel Santos is saying here, it's you guys are really good model for all of us. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Marcos, Maria José.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Dear listener, I know you would like it. Why not? Because this is what we need. Here, you see how the spirits put together everything? It's quite amazing, because they not only give us the message, not only they find the people who will give us the art so we can see and feel how tangible the help of the loving minds of the Beyond are with us, but they bring us beautiful instruments. Falcão's family, Marco Falcão's family, with John, with Maria Jose, with Pamela, bringing to us this inspiration. This is family life. Humility, devotion to God, service to community, integrity. Dear listener, we are so very grateful. We hope you're feeling joyful and hopeful as well. We're going to go for one break. When we come back, we're going to share with you the Spiritist view on depression in a family with Dr. Marco and Joyce Magalhães.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Kardec Radio, live every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
The International Spiritist Council is organizing and promoting the 7th World Spiritist Congress, which will be held in Havana, Cuba on March 23rd through the 25th of 2013. The Congress theme will be Charity and Spiritual Education in Building a World of Peace. 150 years of the Gospel according to Spiritism. For more information, please visit www.7cem.org.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
A new great book and tool for kids and educators. The children's book, Our Father by the Spirit May, psychographed by Chico Xavier, is available for purchase at www.edisayofamerica.com. Buy your copy today.
And now we return to our program.
Hello, dear Kardec Radio listener. Welcome to the segment Spiritism in Your Life. In our segment today, we're going to spend some time discussing the importance of family. In some medical conditions, they are diagnosed very, very often in hospitals. And we're going to talk specifically today about depression. In order to understand this topic a little bit better, let us remember what Allan Kardec asked the spirits regarding the family ties. And we go to question number 775 in the Spirit's book. Allan Kardec asks the spirits, what will be the effect upon society of the relaxation of family ties? And the Spirit answers, a relapse into selfishness. Also in question number 774, the spirits complete that answer. God has willed that men should learn through them to love one another as brothers. In chapter 4, number 19 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, we also find this passage. The union and affection that exists between family members are an indication of a former sympathy that has brought them together. One also says of someone whose character, tastes, and inclinations have no similarity to those of their closest relatives, that he or she is not of that family. Saying this declares a greater truth than one might suppose. God allows such incarnations of antipathetic or foreign spirits within families with the dual objective of serving as a trial for someone and as a means of advancement for others. The evil ones better themselves little by little through contact with the good ones and the care they receive from them. Their character becomes milder, their habits more purified, and the antipathies are erased. It is thus that the fusion amongst different categories of spirits is established, as occurs on the earth amongst ethnicities and cultures. So from what we can see from these passages, and also from extensive work by Emmanuel and André Luiz, the family is this fundamental part in our spiritual and physical evolution. And it's also a place where we can work on our previous mistakes, help one another, learn how to live in society, and we can list on many other things, as we're also going to be able to study more in more detail during this program today. But the question we want to answer today is, how's family impacting the manifestation of physical diseases and other psychological problems, including depression? A very good example to illustrate that is based on a paper by Fabry et al., where the authors assigned 20 outpatients with recurrent major depressive episodes despite the use of drugs to treatment. So they divided the group in two. One group was going to receive treatment with the same drug, but with an increased dose. The second group would continue in the same drug, but now with addition of family therapy. The authors concluded that recurrence of depression occurred in significantly fewer patients who received family therapy compared to those who did not. Understanding and accepting family has a dramatic impact on the health of members of this family. Family therapy has been successfully used over years in order to treat episodes of depression. Most problems that occur in families of depressed patients can be treated with family therapy, and these include poor communication, lack of support between family members, not fulfilling parental roles, poor understanding about the disease and other limited capabilities, treatments, and other things. And most importantly, a major problem will be the feeling of blame, criticism, and hostility in response to the depressed patient's social withdrawal, negativity, hopelessness, helplessness, regression, and dependence. And of course, when we do have a situation where someone is depressed, many family members can actually make it more difficult for the person that's going through the problem. And also the person that's depressed can also make it more difficult for other family members to help him and cope with it. Dear listeners, this is an extremely brief discussion about this topic, but the message that I want to leave for you guys today is, in order for you to be healthy, you have to start by having healthy attitudes, by having a healthy family, loving one another, respecting each other within your family. Remember that you are not in this family by chance. As we read earlier in the work by Allan Kardec, there's always a reason why we're having to go through this specific scenario in this existence. And we always have to learn from it. And that's what Jesus wants from us, always. We have to use all opportunities we have to learn to be a better person. Thank you so much, my dear friends. And remember the message, love one another, and so be it.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Kardec Radio, live, every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
A new great book and tool for kids and educators. The children's book, Our Father by the Spirit Mei, psychographed by Chico Xavier, is available for purchase at www.edisayofamerica.com. Buy your copy today.
Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
The newest edition of the Medium's book by Allan Kardec is now available. Purchase your copy online or via your ebook reader. Simply go to www.edicofamerica.com today.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Join us every Thursday live. Evolution in Two Worlds. A journey of the soul through the teachings of the Spirit Doctor, Andrea Luiz. Connect at www.tvcei.com, Channel 2.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Spiritism for Everyone, the online study of the Spirit's Book and the Gospel according to Spiritism. Spiritism for Everyone meets every Wednesday evening and Saturday morning using the latest technology in web conferencing. You can join in from any computer in the comfort of your home or office, no matter where you are in the U.S. or the world. Spiritism for Everyone is open, free, and requires no registration. To access the web live meetings, go to www.spiritus.us. Spiritism for Everyone is a program of the United States Spiritist Council.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we're talking about empowering our families in the latest issue of the Spiritist magazine, issue 18. You can access it, digital form, for free, online, at any time, day or night. The spiritistmagazine.com or spiritistmagazine.com. When you go there, you're going to see beautiful articles. It's all about how we empower our families so we could be better. So many people are trying to find their pathway. Sometimes their pathway is right there in their own homes. They are searching externally for their fulfillment, which should be achieved inside of them. Dear listener, we are here to talk about the amazing articles. There is one that strikes probably the most about people have been saying to us, how impacted they were with Chico Xavier's words on autism. When you go there, there's a beautiful reflection by Chico Xavier, the greatest medium of all times and humanitarian in Brazil. He wrote that autism is a serious case and it can be considered a true calamity. And he considers that the most therapeutic form to help autistic people, especially children, is that parents learn to talk with the child. It's the Spiritist talk. Like Euripides Barçanufo used to say in the countryside city of Sacramento, Minas Gerais, Brazil. He used to say we need to look at a child in the eyes, picturing the millennial spirit that is connected to that physical body, and talk with the spirit, saying, remember, you are here reincarnated. We are here to support you. This life is great. Don't be afraid. Don't run away from this life. Because as he says, Chico Xavier's own words, many cases of suicide is the root in autism. So people who sometimes want to get away from this life, they have some form of autism. And science today recognizes there are so many different types of autism. That really makes quite a lot of sense what Chico Xavier revealed to us way back in the 80s of last century. It's quite striking. As everything, including the chapter that talks about marriage and divorce, the spirit doctor André Luiz, through Chico Xavier, in one of the chapters of second part of the book Evolution in Two Worlds, talks about a very revolutionary view on, when we say revolutionary, it doesn't mean that it's rebellious, etc. We just mean that it's really at the vanguard of humanity's thinking. And he talks about the fact that this was 1958, and the spirit doctor André Luiz disclosed that there would be a time on the earth when people would get married and divorced several times, and that was not existent at the time they brought the book. It's quite fascinating. There is so much to learn with this issue of the magazine. All issues, but this one more than ever. We would like now to open the line to Kirsten de Mello, who is a part of the team of Kardec Radio and is here with us to share her take, her highlight from this special issue of the Spiritist magazine. Hi, Kirsten. Thank you so much for joining us today at Kardec Radio.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for having me today.
So what do you feel about this issue of the magazine?
Well, it's absolutely inspiring, everything from the cover to the back cover. Everything is very inspiring. And likewise as well, you mentioned about the autism, and that's also very striking, especially as a healthcare professional. Looking back on all the autistic patients I've helped take care of, at that time I wasn't aware about the Spiritist view on autism, but probably I'd have to say, aside from that article, the article that was an excerpt from Joanna DeAngelis' book, Family Constellation, is very empowering for myself as a parent, but also for anyone who reads it, parent or not, this new idea, new perspectives on how we should view family is quite amazing, and that book really touches our hearts profoundly when it gives us a really great perspective on how we should approach family, for sure.
And especially because nowadays family lives have been challenged by the new patterns of our society, right?
Absolutely. Now with this idea of the nuclear family is entirely changing with second and third marriages and kids from a first marriage and second marriage blending together. She really gives us this broader perspective on family, but also very loving and encouraging. And especially for single parents out there, if they read particular chapters or the entire book, really, we recommend that. It's very empowering. I think sometimes as a single parent, those who are single parents out there in the world might feel depressed or sad, but once again, Spiritism with Joanna DeAngelis comes along and just kind of swoops you up and says, hey, you're not alone. You have the power within you to raise your children. So it's very beautiful and inspiring.
It is. So we would say the family constellation concept that Joanna brings to us is very different from the model that some, for example, in the American society, that they think the duties and the rights to take care of our children are solely the parents. And she brings a broader perspective of it, the collective responsibility in raising our children, supporting them, etc. Is that right?
Absolutely. She talks about the role of the grandparents. She talks about the roles of aunts and uncles and others, and it's quite amazing because you can't find that in everyday literature that exists, not even in psychology. She really brings this idea that family goes above and beyond just the parents, that, aunts or uncles or friends can give support to the parents in raising the children in a particular way. So it's quite fascinating when she really broadens it, and it's so well synced also with what the Spirits book talks about and what Kardec and the codification brings to us as well.
So, Kirsten, do you have any other thing to share about this issue? I know you're hired. Yeah.
And I just want to say I think that the Spiritist magazine is absolutely amazing, and it has been, but even probably more so in the recent years. It's been absolutely amazing. I think it's a great help, especially in the English movement. We need more material. We need people to know of it and to be aware of it, because once we share it with others, they're amazed at the articles, because there's always something that touches someone. I mean, the articles, as you know, obviously, you're the editor-in-chief, has a general theme, but each article is so well done where, this article about Joanna touched me, but there might be another article that might touch someone else. So we see that it's multifaceted, and it really can reach all people.
All right. So we thank you so much, Kirsty, for your help at Kardec Radio and also for your highlights on this topic today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa.
All right, dear listener, we are going to go for a short break. When we come back, we have here with us our dear friend Alba Morales from the Spirit Star of Baltimore, who is also going to share with us her take on the special issue of the Spiritist magazine.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Kardec Radio, live every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
A new great book and tool for kids and educators. The children's book, Our Father by the Spirit May, psychographed by Chico Xavier, is available for purchase at www.edisayofamerica.com. Buy your copy today.
Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
The newest edition of the Medium's book by Allan Kardec is now available. Purchase your copy online or via your ebook reader. Simply go to www.ediciofamerica.com today.
Nourish Your Soul with Kardec Radio.
Join us every Thursday live. Evolution in Two Worlds. A journey of the soul through the teachings of the Spirit Doctor, Andrea Luiz. Connect at www.tvcei.com, Channel 2.
Nourish Your Soul with Kardec Radio.
Spiritism for Everyone, the online study of the Spirit's Book and the Gospel according to Spiritism. Spiritism for Everyone meets every Wednesday evening and Saturday morning using the latest technology in web conferencing. You can join in from any computer in the comfort of your home or office, no matter where you are in the U.S. or the world. Spiritism for Everyone is open, free, and requires no registration. To access the web live meetings, go to www.spiritus.us. Spiritism for Everyone is a program of the United States Spiritist Council.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here sharing with you the good news that Kardec Radio is to discuss the latest issue of the Spiritist magazine, amazing cover by Marcos Falcão, portraying it's a glimpse of the beautiful vision that we had in the Spiritist Symposium in Atlanta this year, and amazing articles. We are here also with Alba Morales, who is the coordinator of the Spiritist program for youth and children at the Spiritist side of Baltimore, and she's here with us sharing her take on this issue of the magazine. Hi, Alba. How are you?
Vanessa, I'm pretty good, thank you.
All right. So, what would you like to share about this issue of the Spiritist magazine? What did strike you the most?
Okay, this is a very special issue in which you start reading one article and you go for the next one and the next one. So it is difficult to pick one. But one of the articles that really caught my attention, not only because I'm working with youth and children at the SSB, but also because I'm working in my day-to-day life with youth and children, is about different children. And somehow we can link it with the article about where are they leaving us, you know. So, Different Children by Emmanuel, you start thinking why. Why I do have this child in my family. Why I do have this very challenging boy or girl that is not listening, that is kind of stubborn, or that we need to repeat several times over and over the same instructions or directions. Or this child that is very distracted, that is not paying attention in the school setting, and it's really like you need to do a double effort to guide and to educate these different children. And basically what Emmanuel brings us is this beautiful light about how these children are actually part of our family constellation, as you discussed before with Kirsten. What that means? We are related with them somehow, in some form. And it is through love that we are going to really nurture this soul. Why the soul incarnating among a family? Because the soul needs to learn a lesson, and only God knows what lesson it is. So one of the things that I really love is a very short article, but it's very powerful and straightforward, because it is it's not only like you're going to use the resources that you have, I don't know, therapists or counselors or psychologists or doctors according with every child needs, but it's also through your love, and it's not only the parents' effort but the family effort. Because these children are coming not only because they need to learn a lesson, but also because us, as a parents or siblings, we need also to learn being patient, charitable, being loving, caring. So in order to develop all these qualities that is definitely qualities of the more evolved and progressive world, also God is giving us this opportunity of interact with different children that sometimes the only thing that they need is like this kind and firm love, saying we accept you. We know you have these difficulties, or we know you see the world differently, but we accept you and we love you because God already loves you. So it really touched my heart.
Yeah, I bet. And when he says that we should pray and ask for the light of understanding, and that when Emmanuel says, even though you cannot express yourself, go and embrace softly your different children closer to your spirit, because as he says at the end, this child means the highest reunion between your hope and the goodness of God. That's amazing, isn't it, Alba?
It is so much hope. And also, we can see these different children from two perspectives. One, maybe they are coming from a different planet. Maybe they're souls that just need to be embraced here, and they don't know this planetary environment. So they really need this quiet and warm love. Or, in another hand, there is a soul who, like all of us, made wrong decision in the past and is coming to pay or to fix whatever he or she did in the past, and it needs understanding and forgiveness. So it could be, and of course there are many more possibilities, but it's just like two perspectives. Like different children is not always the troublemaker. Different children, it could be a soul with so high aspirations, with a certain vision of art and the world that is so high that we don't understand. So we also need to nurture this soul and give them the resources for them to progress, because we don't know, later on they are going to be helping us to move forward. So it's not always like in this negative assumption. It's just different. And I like the way Emmanuel entitled that article. It's different. It's not negative or positive. It's just something different.
Exactly.
Right?
It's amazing. Alba, you brought us a great article and linked with another one by Luis Salazar, Why They Are Leaving Us, things that really our public should read, pay attention, share with others. Thank you so much, Alba, for giving us your time and your insights on this and much more. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, dear listeners. So, as you heard from Alba Morales, she's an educator, not only at the Spiritus Shuttle Baltimore, but in her professional life. And she has brought to us, as a mother as well, the importance of us reframing the way we see our frustrated expectations with our children. Who are they? Emmanuel explains who they are, and this issue brings a lot of insights also because Bernadette Leal shares with us how to teach children to meditate. And you can listen to this also in a previous issue of a previous program at Kardec Radio. Right now, what we're going to do is give a short break, and when we come back, Kirsten DeMello is going to share with us in her segment, Spiritist Moment, more on how to be happy as we fulfill God's laws.
We will return to our program after these messages.
For the first time ever, the book Between Heaven and Earth by the spirit André Luiz, psychographed by Chico Xavier, is now in English. This is a novel that offers information about the relationship that exists in the activities of the spirit on the two planes of life. Purchase your copy today at www.edysayofamerica.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Now in English, the book Action and Reaction by the spirit André Luiz, psychographed by Chico Xavier. Buy your copy online or via your ebook reader. Go to www.edysayofamerica.com today. The International Spiritist Council is organizing and promoting the 7th World Spiritist Congress, which will be held in Havana, Cuba on March 23rd through the 25th of 2013. The Congress theme will be Charity and Spiritual Education in Building a World of Peace. 150 years of the Gospel according to Spiritism. For more information, please visit www.7cem.org.
And now we return to our program.
Welcome back, dear Kardec Radio listeners, to the Spiritist Moment. We return back again to Part 3, Chapter 2 of the Spirit's book, The Natural/Divine Laws. We were talking about the law of worship. Let's recap again the definition by the Spirits explain to us what it means, the law of worship. And they tell us that it basically is the elevation of our thoughts towards God. It's not this worshiping of statues and idols where we merely bow down, give sacrifices for it. No, it's much more profound than that and quite interesting. If we could walk around day to day, elevating our thoughts all the time towards more positive things, changing our perspectives to a more divine and elevated manner, well, that is in and of itself, as the spirits define, worshiping God, getting closer to Him. And it makes a lot of sense. And the spirits tell us that this sensation is within all creatures, all the time, no matter what religion they belong to. So let us go to questions 654 through 656. It's very interesting, and the spirits, and Kardec asked the spirits, does God have any preference for those who worship in this or that manner? And it's quite interesting of the question. How many have asked that question? Does God care how I worship Him in external expressions, in this way or that way? The spirits always tell us that true worship comes from our heart. And God, as the spirits say, and we quote, prefers those who sincerely worship from the bottom of their heart, doing good and avoiding evil. To those who think they honor God through ceremonies that do not render them any better than their neighbor. So we see, if our external expressions are positive, if they are uplifting for us, if they help us to be a better person, that is wonderful. Then the spirits conclude and say to us, we conclude and we share that that's what the good and noble spirits share with us and tell us that that's a good positive thing. That is as it should be. But if these external expressions do not make us a better person, they serve no purpose than for us to be pious and perhaps even self-centered and just wanting to appear as if we are something greater, and we are not. So we know that external expressions are not everything, and the spirits tell us again that you unify humanity by saying that we are all brothers and sisters, children of the same God. And here's the most interesting of all. God calls all those who follow the divinely established laws, whatever may be the form in which they express themselves. So we could even conclude and deduce from this answer that it's not solely the spiritists that were called by God. Because, as the spirits share with us in this chapter, the laws of God are written in every creature. That means in the Buddhists, in the Jews, in even the atheists, everyone across the globe. It's written in every heart and soul. Although we know, according to the spirits, that sometimes these laws are very quieted and even just sleeping, sort of. And God allows things in our lives to occur for it to awaken within us. So we ask ourselves, are we following the divinely established laws? Because if we are, God will call upon us. That's something we want. We want our names to be on the lips of God, so to speak. Respectfully, we say that. But let us think about that. Are we asking ourselves on a day-to-day basis, are we following the laws of God? And how many of us find ourselves in a situation, whether we are in a relationship or in a situation where we have to share another's religion, perhaps even practice with them, and perhaps we're perplexed and even deeply concerned in practicing another's religion? Well, question 655 addresses that very issue that some of us may find. And the spirits answer that the intention is the rule. If our intention is to show respect according to the spirits, then that's good. But those who do the opposite, who seek to ridicule or make others feel bad for having a difference of religion, that's not what God is wanting us to act like. It's something for us to think about, to be more charitable in our actions towards others so we do not offend them. Yes, we feel very strongly and deeply about our spiritist beliefs and the teachings. We believe very strongly. But the spirits tell us that it's okay to show respect to other belief systems that do not think as we do. So, dear listeners, let us reflect about these thoughts as we go out there and mingle with people, because that is a reality. Once we leave our spiritist centers and we go to work, we have friends that are not spiritists. Well, here is a great handbook on how to approach and how to deal with others who have a different religion, a different belief system. The spirits tell us we should respect and not ridicule others for believing differently as we do. One more charitable act we can do in our lives. And dear Kardec Radio listeners, until next week, we wish you many blessings.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Enjoy this new release. Reborn for Love, by the renowned Brazilian scientist and researcher on reincarnation, Dr. Hernani Andrade. This novel describes one of the most extraordinary and genuine cases of reincarnation ever studied by Dr. Andrade's Brazilian Institute of Psychobiophysics Research in Sao Paulo State. Order your copy now at roundtable.uk@gmail.com or at www.roundtablepublishing-uk.com.
Spiritist Network, your gateway to on-demand Spiritist videos, www.spiritistnetwork.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Want to find a good way to explain life after physical death to kids or teenagers? Check out the book Message from a Teen in the Spirit World by the Spirit Neo Lucio and psychographed by Chico Xavier. In this book, a teenager named Carlos explains his impressions on the new life in the spirit realm with his discarnate relatives and new friends. Purchase your copy online at www.ssbaltimore.org.
The Spiritist Magazine is a trimestral digital periodical that publishes the latest news on the Spiritist thought and the movement in the USA and worldwide. Subscribe now at www.spiritistmagazine.com.
In the book, A Primer on Being Good by the Spirit May May, psychographed by the medium Chico Xavier, explains in simple language appropriate for children two paths in life, the path of good or the path of evil. God has granted us the freedom to choose either one. Purchase your copy online at www.ssbaltimore.org.
Now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here in the last part of our show. It's about the Spiritist magazine, its latest issue, Empowering Our Families, special cover, special articles, everything special. You can access the Spiritist magazine at spiritistmagazine.com, read it digitally, and you know what? Thanks to our friend John Netto, Marcos Falcón son, we are going to make it available, the magazine, also for you to print. If you want to print, you can access magcloud.com today and get to know more about how to print the Spiritist magazine and have your Spiritist magazine in your hand as a magazine. Can you believe it? Yes, there are thousands of possibilities. In this issue, there is also a special article written for the magazine on the column Joanna DeAngelis, Spiritist Psychology by Dr. Claudio Sinotti and Dr. Iris Sinotti from Brazil, The Man in His Masks. And they talk about the importance of us becoming, that we should become bridge people. Bridge people is a type of posture ideal for those who put themselves between extremes to help facilitate bailing the existential abyss that happens between individuals. It's about being worried and concerned and helping people who are in need. Not only in need as in poverty, misery, but emotional need. There are people who are living right inside of our communities and our families, and all we do is put them down instead of raising them up, helping them, giving them a hand. This article is so beautiful and it can truly empower our lives and especially family lives. And at the very end, there's a beautiful article by the Spirit Doctor Andrea Luiz about for those who want to try avoid obsession, especially in families, but not only. He says, don't stop dreaming, but face the everyday realities. Because there are many people, dear listener, who dream a lot and they say, oh, I have these dreams and this and the other, but they don't face everyday reality. They don't go after what they need to do to achieve that dream. And we need to face them, but don't stop dreaming. He continues by saying, to avoid obsessions, we need to reduce our complaints to a minimum when we cannot dominate them completely. We need to talk reassuringly to the ones that listen to us. We also need to let others live their existence as much as we want to live the experience that God gave to us. We should also not take for granted the power of work. Work is a true blessing, and we should never think that good can be carried out without obstacles and difficulties. And we know how many obstacles there are in this world for people who really want to live a life to others and for others. It's quite challenging, but we cannot stop it. To avoid obsessions, we need to cultivate perseverance towards betterment, never allow stubbornness to take our point of view. And realistically, we should accept our disappointments, extracting the value of our experience without wasting time with unproductive lamentations. To avoid obsession, says Andrea Luiz, we need to believe that we will resolve our problems only if we do not run away from them. And we should also remember, he says, that disappointment, embarrassments, and hardships are milestones in everyone's path. Finally, to avoid obsessions, the suffering that visits us is of little importance. What really matters is our personal reaction when we face it. Dear listener, there's so much to learn with this issue of the magazine, all the other ones. Go there, share the link with your family and friends, because you know, this is about food for our souls. You're nourishing others when we send an email to them with this good news of this issue of the magazine. Why not? Talking about that, how about if we learn more now with Bernadette Leal on how to teach our children to control and manage their anger? Because anger is a physiological reaction. How do we work on managing it? Bernadette Leal now tell us more about it in the segment Yes.
Welcome to our Yes, Youth Education in Spiritism with Kardec Radio. I am Bernadette Liao, and I'll be spending a few minutes with you, inspiring to bring spiritual awareness and spiritist teaching to our youth, parents, and educators. Today, we will answer 3 questions on helping and understanding your children when they are angry. First question. I notice that I am not always successful calming my child down when he's angry. Why? When children and teenagers are very upset, their level of frustration may increase. Consequently, they may get angry because of their inability to understand and control their feelings or the situation they face. Some children might isolate themselves or are able to talk about how they feel. Others, on the other hand, can be mean, yell, or become aggressive. When that happens, some parents feel compelled to help his children to calm down, but this is not always an easy task, mainly when their child blames the parent for his frustration and says hurtful words. The first thing before trying to calm a child or anyone down is to take a look at yourself. Jesus taught us about knowing thyself, and that is what we would like to invite you to do by going deep into your heart and reflecting upon how you usually handle your frustrations. Ask yourself, what are the things that throw me off balance and make me angry? How often do I get angry? How do I react when I am mad? Do I scream or yell at people? Do I blame others or project my frustration onto others? Do I become rude or aggressive? Is it easy for me to calm down? How do I calm down? Just like a child or teenager, we adults get angry sometimes. Usually happens when we are frustrated and feel we cannot control a situation, or when we have a high expectation of a person or the result of something we planned was not what we expected. We also may get angry when we feel attacked or offended by someone. The reason we are suggesting that you look at yourself first is because when we see a child or teenager angry, often parents or adults have the tendency to approach the child with a judgmental mind, having a preconceived idea that a child is being silly, a brat, selfish, or that they have no real reason to act that way. A child's behavior may look very unreasonable for a grown-up, but it makes completely sense through the eye of a child or a teenager. How would you feel if you were angry and someone said to you that there was no reason for you to be upset? How could the person know? Come on, truly, he cannot feel the way you are feeling at the moment. So assess your frame of mind before talking to an angry child and stop if you notice that you are approaching him judging for what he did, or ready to send him to timeout because you believe he needs to think about his actions. This is not very helpful. Trust us, a child who is angry will not be thinking about his behavior but how unfair you are for putting him on timeout. In his mind, he believes he is right. Dear parents and educators, just like Jesus, we need to practice looking at the child with compassionate eyes. When you see that your child is angry, say to yourself first, hey, I've been there. I know how it feels to be frustrated and how much I wanted people to understand how I felt. Just then you are ready to try to help him, not with a judgmental mind, but with an understanding heart. Remember, any negative behavior from a child means that he's trying to communicate something. So, are you ready to hear and see what his actions are trying to tell you? Second question. How can I help my child to calm down? Once you are sure you are looking at your child with compassion, then set your intention, which is to bring peace to the child's mind and heart, and not punish or try to teach him a lesson. You can talk about his actions and the consequences later, but not when he is angry. He will not listen, and you probably will make him angrier. Be calm and take a few minutes to assess your child's body language to see if he's open for you to get closer to him. Sometimes, children and teenagers need time alone for a few minutes to calm down. They do not want to talk or be touched, and we need to respect that. If you feel that this is the case, then give your child some space, but always check on him, not leaving him alone for too long. Some children who have serious anger outbursts may feel depressed afterwards, or even try to hurt themselves. If you notice that your child is showing signs of uncontrollable anger, it is wise to look for professional help, such as anger management classes, therapy, and also parenting classes. Sometimes the problem is also within the parents. It does not work if a child receives some help, but the parent continues acting impulsively and showing anger. As you get closer to your child, sit next to him or even go on your knees to be at his level. When you are talking to him standing up, you show a superior posture, and little kids may feel threatened. That's what we do with a dog that is being punished or disciplined by its owner. Then in a calming voice, ask the child about his feelings. Some children may not be able to express in words how they feel, so you can help by asking questions. For instance, you can ask, "Are you sad now? Are you feeling like hitting something or running? Does your tummy hurt?" Children may feel so angry that they make themselves sick, having headache, or feeling like puking. Help the child to express his feelings in words and slowly engage in a conversation. The goal is to help the child to say what is bothering him, even if you do not agree or like what you will hear. But think about the positive side of it, which is to have a communication, trusting relationship with your child. Also, show some empathy by expressing that you can relate to his situation by saying, "I see you are upset now. I understand how you feel because I get upset or even angry sometimes, and I am so sorry you are feeling this way." A good technique dealing with young children is to say something funny in the middle of the conversation that will make them smile or laugh to break the negative state of mind. Another approach is to point out the child's virtues, emphasizing what is best in him. Talk to him, not about what he did, but about all the wonderful and positive things you see in your child. If he, for instance, in a moment of anger, pushed another child, you can say, "I have seen how wonderful you are with your friends when you play with them, and also helping them when they get hurt. I know you are kind, and what happened today is not who you truly are, because you are a child of God, and I see a lot of God's things about you and in you." And then you help your child to solve the issue, not focusing on him being bad, but on the opposite, that he is a good child, and that is why he will apologize and work on a way to make it up to his friend. Third question: what are the spiritual aspects of being angry? Anger is a negative feeling in which is mostly found in hurt pride and low self-esteem. Spiritually speaking, as we get angry, we lower our vibration level, and through our thoughts we connect with low-level spirits, maximizing the negative energy. Anger stops us from seeing things clearly. Instead of light, our minds will be surrounded by shadow, making us feel worse or acting in a way that can harm us and others. Negative energy also drains us, and we may feel very exhausted afterwards. In addition, it will affect our chakras, which are vortex that receives and releases energy that we produce and are captured from the environment. People who repeatedly are angry will block some of their chakras, becoming out of balance, and as a result they may feel sick with headache, depression, stomach pain, heart palpitation, and breathing problems. Chapter 9 of the Gospel According to Spiritism by Allan Kardec explains that anger cannot solve any problem. It can even harm our health to the point where it puts our life at risk. In becoming violently angry, we essentially become our first victim, and we can also run the risk that in one of our explosions we will do something we will deeply regret for the rest of our lives, which is a terrible burden for our conscience to bear. Jesus, in his inspiring Sermon on the Mountain, reminds us to be an instrument of peace when he says, "Blessed are the gentle and the peacemakers." His teachings and life example invite us to love our neighbor as ourselves. Do to others what we would have them do to us. Love our enemies. Forgive all offenses. Do good without ostentation. And look at ourselves first before judging others. These are valuable lessons that we should teach our children at an early age, and also practice so we can all help this world to become a peaceful and loving place to live. Kardec Radio listeners, when your child is angry, help them to change their negative thoughts and bring peace where there is chaos. If they scream, silence. If they raise their voice, whisper. If they try to attack you with actions, physically distance from the situation. Do not engage in the same level of energy, and keep in mind that you need to be peaceful in order to bring peace. And as always, pray, asking God and the good spirits for guidance and wisdom to help your child. Sadly, nowadays there are many teenagers in the juvenile hall because of their uncontrollable rage, regretting later for what they did. You can be the one that will make a difference in a child's or teenager's life. Be compassionate, loving, patient, understanding, and most importantly, do not judge so that it will not be judged. Thanks for listening to Yes, and if you have any questions that would like us to answer, please email us to kardec@kardecradio.com.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Would you like to liberate yourself from your life struggles or to find inner balance? The Inner Journey CD has 3 beautiful visualizations that will help you bring harmony to your life. As Joanna DeAngeli tells us to, live in a way that you leave enlightening footprints in your pathway as if they were stars pointing out the pathway to happiness. To find this CD, go to the bookstore on the Spiritist Society of Baltimore webpage, www.ssbaltimore.org. That is www.ssbaltimore.org, and start your inner journey today.
Nourish Your Soul with Kardec Radio.
A new great book and tool for kids and educators. The children's book, Our Father by the Spirit Mei, psychographed by Chico Xavier, is available for purchase at www.edisayofamerica.com. Buy your copy today.
And now we return to our program.
Good morning, dear Kardec Radio listener, and welcome to one more program with God at Home. I am Naur Fonseca.
And I am Gabi Ferreira. Today's lesson is from the book Jesus in the Home, chapter 21, entitled The Industrious Rich Man, by the spirits Neo Lucio and psychographed by Chico Xavier.
Dear listener, let's think for a moment why we seek so much material richness. Why do we work so hard to accumulate things? And how do we let our perception of money influence the way we educate our children? The story that Jesus is about to tell has invaluable lessons for the immortal soul. Let's listen.
James, the oldest disciple, gave an invaluable talk about longing for wealth when Jesus commented, smiling.
There was a God-fearing man who was dedicated to uprightness. He read a lot of advice on prudence, and he tried to work hard in order to store up a treasure that would benefit his family. For 20 years, he put away coin after coin until he had managed to build a patrimony of a few million. When he stopped working, in order to take a look back at his work, he was greatly disappointed to realize that every area of his life had changed without him even noticing it.
But what had happened to his life to make him feel disappointed?
His home, which was once humble and happy, had taken on a somber mood. His wife had become a slave to 1,001 obligations to kill time. His children whispered amongst themselves, speculating as to what would be their share of their dead father's inheritance. His loyal friends had deserted him. His neighbors had fenced him with envy and irony, and the local authorities had forced him into a duplicitous attitude of artifice that was completely in disagreement with the sincerity of his heart. Due to so many disruptions, he was compelled to make his home into a fortress to protect himself against everyone and everything. After a few weeks of close self-observation, he concluded that the fortune he kept in his coffer, under lock and key, was the reason for his endless disillusionment and regrets. One particular night, he could no longer bear the worries stemming from his newfound status, and he prayed in tears, begging for the Lord's inspiration. After the moving prayer, an angel appeared to him on the evanescent screen of a dream and said to him,
"Every fortune that flows like the crystal clear waters of a spring is a living blessing, but all wealth that lies in useless repose is a poisonous well of a stagnant water. Why did you demand a river when a simple cup of water was enough to quench your thirst? What inspired you to stock granaries to overflowing when a few grains of wheat were all you needed for a meal? Go back and convert your coin chest into a miraculous coffer of salvation. Extend the joys of work, build schools to sow spiritual light, and distribute happiness to the multitudes. On earth, money is only worth the good it can do."
Unspeakably shocked, the chaser of gold awoke transformed, and from that day onward, he began to unleash his enormous savings so that all his neighbors could join him in the blessings of service and goodwill.
At the first hint of his spiritual renewal, his wife stared at him strangely and repulsed. His children hated him, and his beneficiaries thought he was crazy. However, revitalized and happy, the industrious millionaire began enjoying an open sanctuary in his home once again, and the spirit of hidden happiness returned to live in his heart.
The master became silent, and James exclaimed, "Lord, what a priceless and sublime lesson."
Yes, but only for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Let's meditate then on Joanna de Angelis' message.
What's yours today will have changed hands tomorrow.
Do not be a slave to what you hold for just a few moments, thus avoiding suffering when it passes to another.
The only goods of permanent value are the treasures of feeling, culture, and virtues.
Listener, we hope you have enjoyed it. It's all about empowering our families, from the material aspects to the spiritual ones. And if you are there and in need of prayer, that's how we always end this most nourishing program. Let us nourish our souls with a prayer. In the Gospel According to Spiritism, Allan Kardec dedicates its last chapter, chapter 28, to a collection of Spiritist prayers. It begins with explanations on the Lord's Prayer, and it goes with different prayers that we may need. In this case, we're going to pray for those families who are feeling afflicted. As Kardec says in item 42 of the chapter 28 of the Gospel According to Spiritism, he says, if it is in the interest of the afflicted person for his or her trial to follow its course, it will not be shortened at our request, but it would be an act of faithlessness to become disheartened because the request was not granted. Moreover, even if the trial does not cease, one can hope to receive some other consolation that mitigates its bitterness. What is truly useful for the one who is suffering is courage and resignation, without which the trial is unprofitable, because it will have to be recommenced. Thus, it is for this purpose that one must specially direct one's efforts, whether by appealing to good spirits to help the afflicted, or by rebuilding the afflicted person's morale through counsels and encouragement, or finally, by materially assisting the person if possible. In this case, prayer may have a direct effect by directing a fluidic current upon the person for moral strength. We now invite you, dear listener, to pray. Let us pray for all the families who are being afflicted. Dear God, whose goodness is infinite, deign to soften the bitter situation of every family, if it is your will. Good spirits, in the name of the Almighty God, we ask you, please assist all families who are today suffering afflictions. If it is in their best interest that they be spared from these afflictions, enable these families to understand that they are necessary for their advancement. Give these afflicted families trust in God and in the future, which will render them bitter. Give these families also the strength not to give in to despair, which would cause the loss of the benefit, and which will render their future situation even more painful. Lead our thoughts to these families, that they may be upheld in their courage. This is our sincere wish, dear family, and we truly hope, that you feel the blessings of the program today, empowering families. And next week when we come back, Vicky Marcus from FizBiz is going to be here with us, talking about her beautiful program on how to stamp out childhood obesity. For now, dear listeners, we hope you feel the blessings of God every day. Thank you so much, and we'll be with you next week.
Thank you for listening to Kardec Radio, broadcasting live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email us and share your comments at www.kardecradio.com. Until next time, we wish you many blessings.